Rich Rising, everybody. Thank you for being here for the first ever Skillshare Saturdays. So, this is a series that's intended for like minds to come together to learn new skills that have to do with their creative careers. This one, our debut one, is launching your dream business. So, this is a series that is a part of the Pain to Power program. The Pain to Power program is a creative career accelerator for Black youth in the Toronto West End. Although we are a hybrid program and we do offer virtual workshops as well as videos right here on the YouTube channel. Okay, so I figured that launching your dream business would be a great place to start. And that is exactly where we are going to be starting. So if you stick around till the end, you are going to receive a gift from us. You are going to receive a free month from Skillshare. So our program is a drop-in program. We have our in-person workshops at different places in the city, mostly the West End. And it gives you the opportunity to kind of test different mediums to transmute your pain into power. Everything from photography to wig installation to DJing to makeup. Um, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and play this video. This video was a song that was developed from the Pain to Power community. It was from an event called Digital Diaspora, where we got youth and elders together. We are just going to play this video whilst we wait for some people to come into the room, and then we are going to get started. The actual talking portion is going to be about 40 minutes. And then if afterwards, if there's any questions, that'll be the time for that. But if you weren't able to catch us live, then you can go ahead and just drop your question at the end. And I will also put the link for our free WhatsApp community in the description. Enjoy!
When I say I want it, me I get that. Any goal that I see at the touch of my hands. Every time I breathe, energy, positive vibration. High when me walk and live.
Wake up in the morning, I thank God, then brush my teeth. When I think of all my blessings, hey, this life's too sweet. I put my finger on the trigger. Yeah, shoot past my dreams. Psalms 126 and Psalms 23.
When I say yeah, yeah, you know the vibes, them dead. Get up and release the pressure. Koi's joy, release the stressor. Nisa Koi wants you to know your whole essence is beautiful. Radiate, you're here for a purpose. Keep trying because you're worth it. My name is Koi and I bring the joy. I release all negative noise. Using art to fill the void. To live is to love. Make it your choice. To live is to love. Make it your choice. To live is to love. Make it your choice. To live is to love. Make it your choice.
God bless me, you can't quench this fire. Pain to power, sing it with my choir. They hold me down, but I keep going higher. Give all the praise and thanks to the Messiah. God bless me with this holy water. The blessings coming in bigger and larger. Took my pain and turned it into power. See pain and power, sing it with my choir.
Yebo, yebo. Panikaya mwari, bura itunaya. Dinonzi rain, dinonzi rain. Panikaya mwari, bura itunaya. Dinonzi rain, dinonzi rain. Blessings rain down on me.
slowly. 2 words shape your reality. You will create what you believe. So come right now, affirm with me. I say. Woo.
That's my biggest flex. I will succeed and give you my best. Glory be to God, I am so blessed. The words that I write, I know my mind can never take my soul. My God, to you the will come true. And believe me,
remember who you are. I am. I can. Remember who you are. I am. Remember who you are. I am. I can. Remember who you are. I am.
I knew for a long time that I wanted to have my own business and for it to be based around my creative passions. But initially, I struggled to know how to make those two dreams come together. From teaching guitar in living rooms and recording in a makeshift studio to launching my own multi-award winning music charity that now employs a team of people, I've learned how to turn creativity into income without losing the joy that made me start in the first place. In this class, I'll show you how I did it and how you can do it too with whatever your creative passions or business dreams are. Hey, I'm Mark. I'm a full-time musician, the founder of a music charity and director of a creative company called Time. I also operate as a course and content creator and I'm a top teacher here on Skillshare. My charity's aim is to build people's confidence and creativity. We provide inclusive music sessions that are available to everyone, regardless of age, ability or background. My journey from hosting a weekly drop-in session that was organised by 3 friends to becoming a company director is all covered here. The skills I've learned from launching a creative business has helped me lead a life and build an independent career that I truly enjoy and feel privileged to deliver. In this class, we'll talk about imposter syndrome and self-doubt that you might experience when trying to turn your creative outlet into a form of income. I'll show you how to create that company that aligns with your passions and interests, but also starts to pay the bills. There'll be examples of how me and my colleagues set up multiple income streams while you don't need a huge social media presence to get going, the most useful apps and productivity hacks to help you, and how to manage your time, health and well-being. Becoming a business owner shouldn't mean you just triple your workload and the resulting mental fatigue. Trust me, you don't want to keep hitting burnout. I've been there. That's no good for you, your creativity, or the people that benefit from your business. So we'll look at ways to balance that. If you have an idea and a creative outlet that you're passionate about passing on and earning a living from, then this class is for you. Whether you're looking to get started or you're already up and running but need clarity on direction and how to grow, then there'll be something here to help. I'm still on my journey and always looking for ways to improve, but the experiences and insights that I share here should get you to this point a lot quicker than I did. I look forward to hopefully seeing you in the next video. To hopefully help you realise the opportunities you have, I want to start with a really simple class project that you can make more detailed as the class progresses. So we're going to start with a very basic outline for now. You'll see a worksheet attached to this class if you want to go and grab that, or you can just follow along with me for now. So starting simple, what is the broad area you want your business to be in, or what is that main passion that you're looking to monetize? It could be art, film, photography, copywriting, design, whatever that is. So for me, it would be music, or more specifically, guitar. And then you want to identify 5 to 10 related skills or areas that branch out from your main passion. So if we look at that music or guitar heading to begin with, we've got guitar player, guitar teacher, songwriting, recording studio engineer, producer, live music, events management, music therapist, and all of these individual roles will be able to sprout off and create other roles and more defined areas for you to work in. But we can talk more about that later on. Now, as this class progresses, that list will become more definitive. Those single line headings, those single roles that you'll have will start to branch off and eventually create a much clearer idea of the type of business you're going to launch. Let's get started. So this is probably going to sound frustratingly simple, but you just need to get started and start small. Don't overwhelm yourself. So many people are held back by that initial process of just getting going. Imposter syndrome. You've probably heard that phrase before, and the chances are if you have that nagging voice in your head, it can be hard to settle or ignore it. But don't let it stop you. It's about trying to turn that self-doubt on its head. By just starting and saying to yourself, there's no pivotal goal here. I don't need to earn $1,000 in my first month. I don't need to monetize on YouTube and get 5,000 followers on Instagram in my first year. It's all unnecessary pressure. Actually, if we just get going, do that first drawing, set up your business profile on social media, share your first few product designs, upload your first YouTube video, whatever the small thing is, we find that we build momentum quickly. Those little steps forward, those tiny wins, they just compound over time. And then you can reflect and look back and see that you've achieved a lot and you now have the perfect platform to build from. The music company and charity I run have been operating for over 10 years, but we started with a 2-hour drop-in music session for people with additional needs that took place once every 2 weeks. That eventually turned into a full-time music service that now employs multiple staff. You learn so much along the way. If I was parachuted into my business now, there's no way I would understand the systems and processes that we have in place, the marketing needs, the cash flows, accounting, managing staff. They're all things that we learn as we progressed. And also, as we make mistakes, that can be the best and sometimes the only way to learn. No one who is thinking about starting has the perfect business idea. It doesn't work like that. I see so much about how your first 3 businesses will fail. I hope yours don't, obviously, but the point is the initial idea you have, the setup, the structure that you imagined probably won't look the same once you get going and you become established. But that's the point. You've got going, and that's when you start to learn, develop and progress. By starting that process, you fine tune, you learn new techniques, you meet new people that are further along the journey than you are. All those opportunities are out there once you start. Don't be put off by other people's in the field already doing something similar to you. It's only their version and you're going to be creating yours. Early on in my journey, I reached out to someone who is massive in the graphic design space. Didn't think he'd get back to me, but I was really inspired by the sort of life that he was leading, the courses he was creating, and the way he seemed to be able to manage his time and have all his creative output. He got back to me. We'll talk more about reaching out to people like that a bit later on. But for now, some of the advice that he gave me was just invaluable in that early stage. We spoke so much about work-life balance, flexibility, managing his own time, the time that he gets with his kids, just how empowered he feels to run a creative business that's, inspired by his own ideas, his own output. But one of the biggest things he said was to not be put off by other people already operating in your field. The chances are you're not going to create something totally unique that has never been seen in the world before. But what is different is you're going to be pouring your heart and soul into it. He was like, it's going to have markness. There are other people talking about charities they run or delivering guitar tuition, music therapy, guitar courses. But the difference is I'm sharing my passion, my input, my experiences, and people connect to that. So remind yourself of that when you are launching and you're putting yourself out there. Then when I did come to creating classes, the first one that I put out was a beginner guitar class. That's a crowded field. There's a lot of people already operating in that area. It would have been very easy for me and that imposter syndrome to just take me over, convince myself I had nothing to contribute, no worth in this space, and just not end up doing it. I was definitely intimidated, but I reminded myself of my passion for music, my unique journey and relationship with my art form and my creative outlet. And I told myself, I'm just documenting that and sharing that. And if one person connects, then that's great. It got picked up as a staff pick and I got put into a teacher development program and then top teacher status, and it sparked a whole new direction of travel in my creative and professional life. Arguably, I'm here creating this class because of taking that initial leap. I just had to overcome that initial self-doubt, not set myself huge goals or expectations, pour my genuine passion into the thing and just get started. Let's dive a bit deeper into that. You may have asked yourself this already, but why is it you want to start your own business? I think it's really important to have that in your mind, as it can help shape and direct what you create and who you target it towards. Does the idea of working for yourself, being your own boss, give you massive motivation and drive? Do you want control over how something looks and how it's delivered? Are you passionate about being directly involved in the satisfaction someone receives from your service or product? Does the idea of seeing something start from scratch and turn into a form of income really excite you? Any and all of them are great reasons to start your own business. I had those initial feelings, and I still have them. The journey of being a business owner and maintaining that creative output really excites and motivates me. In this class, I'm coming from the angle of having a creative passion and then turning that into a profitable business, which is what I did, but doing that without ruining the love and the passion you have for that creative outlet. That's very important. Unfortunately, every job, it's downsides, it's hard days, it's bits of admin that aren't the most exciting. So it's important to keep that in mind as well. Good thing to do now would be to load up the worksheet that's attached to this class. We're going to go through that together, but obviously pause at any point to take breathers and think about your answers. A few quick pointers to help you with this worksheet and generally just help you with getting the ideas going for the business that you're going to launch. What are your unfair advantages? Things you do regularly or have big experience of. They may be the direct source of your passion and creative career, like mine is guitar. So I would look at guitar and think, before I launched my business, I had been playing guitar for 12 years. So I had 10 plus years guitar playing experience. I'd also which is things you do regularly or have big experience of. They may be the direct source of your passion and creative career, like mine is guitar. So I would look at guitar and think, before I launched my business, I had been playing guitar for 12 years. So I had 10 plus years guitar playing experience. I'd also taught guitar to people of a mix of ages and abilities. I'd worked in recording studios as a sound engineer. So there's already a good mix of attributes there. And then you can look at adding experiences that might not be directly related to your main passion, but will really benefit your business. For example, I had experience of working in schools and then homeless hostels and care homes for people with disabilities. So this meant working with a massive range of needs and abilities and having to adapt my approach, adapt my communication, really try to be approachable and accessible for people from a real mix of backgrounds and needs. So I can add adaptability, communication, awareness of the care system, inclusivity and accessibility, all good attributes that help with business and liaising with people and hopefully selling my idea, my product, my service. So let's have a look at that worksheet. So we've got 5 questions that we're going to be going through. What is the name, concept of your business? Don't worry if you don't know a full name for this yet. If you've just got a broad idea, even if it's just what your passion is, web design, art, illustration, whatever it is. What is your mission statement? Who's your target audience? What is your vision, and what are your short and long-term goals? So let's go through those together. I knew I loved music, so how could I find a way to earn a living from this? So music or guitar is going to be my broad initial term that I'm going to put into this box. Guitar was the first instrument I learned. I played it every day. So what would be a nice, fulfilling way to monetize that? So music, or more specifically, guitar. So now we move on to a little bit more definition with a mission statement. I knew music changed my life, literally. It wasn't just about getting good at guitar or listening to my favourite records. It gave me a sense of identity and purpose. It improved my confidence, provided a whole new network of people and social circle, gave me some really cool experiences. So how could I create a service that's facilitating and enabling that for other people? So I really like the line, help others develop their confidence and creativity through music participation. And then let's drill down a bit more on that. So target audience, that would be aspiring musicians. Quite an obvious one to start with. Music lovers, obviously. We said earlier about helping people's confidence. So people that could be suffering isolation, vulnerable from a big mix of underprivileged backgrounds potentially, communities, any environments where the opportunities to access music, creativity in general are limited. And because I had experience of working in the care sector, it makes sense to look at that environment because that's something I know really well. So now let's try and expand on the vision of the business a little bit more. Shortly after I started playing guitar, my mum began working in a school for children with disabilities, and I heard so much about sensory approaches and music and the benefit that was having on the children that were there. So as a vision, I began thinking, how can I incorporate that into my business? How can I bring that multitude of benefits that music provides into my service? Well, I know that I'm going to want to create an inclusive service. I'm going to have to focus on things like accessibility. It's going to be able for all ages and abilities to be able to access it. And those people accessing it should be able to gain the therapeutic benefits of music participation. That's what I want my service to provide. Again, it's broad, but we can niche down later if need be. This is all about just getting the ball rolling and the brain ticking. So inclusive and accessible is a big vision for how I want my business to be. And now let's try and bring all of that into some short and and long-term goals. Don't worry if you haven't got definitive ideas yet. Take your time with this. Pause whenever you need to, sit and reflect on it. We're not filling this out now, again, to have a definitive idea of what this business is going to be. This is all a process to hopefully just gradually bring around more clarity. So let's combine all of that into some short and long-term goals. So for me, short, utilize love for music and guitar. We know that's my initial idea, my dream, to generate a form of income while helping others discover their potential. Sounds nice, right? Cool. That's enough of an idea or enough of a reason to want to get a business up and running. As we look a little bit longer into the future, if I'm going to have a long-term business, I want a sustainable service and I want it to be recognised for its inclusivity and have a positive therapeutic benefit on those that engage with it. And then, looking even more detail to that long-term goal, we want to see some results from this business. So what would those results look like? Public performances to enhance the well-being and increase confidence and self-esteem. We spoke a lot about that earlier, and having your own business is brilliant for your own mental health. But if you can then affect others positively as well, fantastic. I'm not saying you have to go and create a business now that focuses on therapy and well-being, but I'm sure if any of you watching this are artists, creators, generally you got into that creative outlet and it became a creative passion because of how good it made you feel. And once you pour that heart and soul into your business or product, naturally it's going to be something that solves problems for other people or is going to make them feel good, something they enjoy. So for me, other results as well, to see others become musicians, performers, songwriters, and or launch their own businesses based on their passions. We now have a broad overview of our business and starting to build an idea of the purposes and goals and impact that we want it to have. Mine involves music or guitar, which was the main passion in my life when I was looking to work for myself. I wanted to be inclusive and accessible for people of all ages and abilities and aim to have a therapeutic benefit that goes beyond just playing guitar. So start to think about your passion, your initial idea, and use this worksheet as a way to build more clarity. When you're ready, jump into the next video and we'll talk about ways to actually turn this into a profitable business. The big thing for me when working at how I would run my own company was trying to align my love for music with a career and realising that music and guitar didn't mean just trying to be a rock star. It also meant how can I help others enjoy and access music and guitar. And help others was a key moment for me. I knew how good music made me feel and I wondered how many people are missing out on that music participation and how hard it is for them to obtain that access. So in this lesson, I'm going to provide a brief overview from teenage music lover to music charity founder, and the huge variety of options that existed for me under the heading of how do I make money from music, and try to think how you can apply these steps to your own idea and situation. So once I got okay at guitar, I started teaching absolute beginners. You only need to be a little bit ahead in the journey of those that are behind you or have not even started yet. Ali Abdal, who's on YouTube, does a lot about productivity, got millions of followers. He says that he tells himself he's making videos for himself 2 years ago. I love that. I didn't need to be a guitar virtuoso to start passing on my passion and help others get started. Music production, you don't need to have a chart-topping album to start to tutor someone how to use music software like GarageBand or Logic. You don't need 20 years of filming and editing experience to become a videographer and start doing your first job for a local business or a content creator. So that's an important concept to remember, and start to think how you can apply that to what your passion is and what you want to help people with. To carry on with that journey, I'm now earning a little bit from music or guitar, allowing me to do more music for myself as well. And this led me to getting a little local studio with a couple of friends. We got cheap rent on it. We initially used it as a rehearsal space, and over time we started to kit that out with a little bit more equipment, record our own songs there, and then we could open the doors and invite other local bands and artists to come in and record their songs. Suddenly we're running a studio for the local community. Remember the SEN school that I mentioned earlier? Well, I heard they had no music provision, so I thought I'll just attend there 1 week with my guitar. Once I realised what I took on the morning of heading there and being like, I can't actually sing. I still can't sing, couldn't then, can't now. So what am I going to do for an hour? But once I arrived in that environment, I started to perform. People would come forward and feel the vibrations. It gave me all these ideas about communication through music, sensory and therapeutic approaches. So many ideas sparked just by seeing that musical participation in a new environment. So what challenging environments could you enter that might spark a whole new wealth of ideas, because you'll have to communicate and deliver in a different way? When you have to adapt something to suit a range of needs, you're obviously forced to become more adaptable and creative in your approaches, and this can be applied to business. How accessible cool is your idea, and how can you increase that accessibility and inclusivity? If more people can access and use it, you automatically have a wider pool of people that are interested. This led me to learn about music therapy and potentially becoming a music therapist. I was attending that school on a weekly basis for free. I did guitar work that was keeping me afloat, but because I had some guitar experience, I'd turn up with a smile on my face every week. I would spend time researching some new ideas and approaches. The school were very happy to keep me on. It became such a crucial period of my life where I could learn, develop and try out new ideas and ultimately benefit other people at the same time. I wasn't paid for my time, but I can't put a price on how much I learned there. Suddenly, from teaching guitar to running a studio to delivering music sessions in an SEN space, if the rockstar idea didn't turn out, I had 3 different income stream ideas. They all complement each other and I loved every one of them. So start to think about the ecosystem of your business idea. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with multiple ideas, but is tuition a first step? Coaching? You probably have valuable advice and experiences that you can pass on. Are you in a position to volunteer in an environment that could become the perfect ground for you to experiment and test your business ideas and generally just learn and develop in? Let's quickly look at another example. We can take the broad term of art or artist, and if that's your thing, then you should definitely be creating, sharing, promoting, having a website, posting regularly on social media. Even though it's a crowded area, never let that stop you. You need to retain space for your art, your creative outlet in your life, because that's what led you to want to earn your own living in the first place. But alongside that, teaching is always an option. Passing on your experience and your passion. Creating an art course, sharing tips and techniques you use. There's plenty of platforms that you can host them on, like the one you're watching on now. Remember, you only need to be a few steps ahead to start sharing your knowledge with others. Create digital products within programs like Procreate, digital templates that people can download, work and sketchbooks with prompts and moments of inspiration to help people with their own ideas. In my local area, an artist offered to do a drawing on one of the local businesses' windows. Lots of other shops started to ask about it. Before you know it, 70-80% of the shops on this busy street have got some form of his artwork on there. And the beauty of it is it's seasonal. He can change these drawings, these paintings throughout the year. People are coming back. It's a regular form of work for him because he went out there, he offered something for free, a little bit different, and a bit of a twist on it. And then he could make these unique, bespoke pieces of work for whoever asked. It's on the high street, always got people passing by. It marketed itself. Such a great idea. Hopefully you can start to see how the broad heading of art or music can branch out into so many other ideas. Let's take the multiple income stream idea a bit further and look at some more definitive ideas and examples. We can now dive a bit deeper into what income options are available to us and hopefully spark some more ideas for the business that you're developing. So if you imagined art or music as the main trunk of the tree, and then you've got all these branches that come off. If we was to use my passion and my journey as an example, so music, guitar, I discovered guitar, fell in love with it, started teaching others, eventually had a studio. I heard about music therapy and the benefits that had. I went and delivered a free workshop in a local SEN school, and that all ultimately led to me launching a music service. Lastly, once this was established, we knew our disabled community so well that we realised there was a real need for a disability nightclub. So we started an inclusive disability club night. It made perfect sense. We worked with people on a daily basis from these communities, so we already had the clientele that we could advertise to. Again, an example about what comes once you just get started. I couldn't have just started with a disability nightclub. We wouldn't have known there was a need. We wouldn't have had the audience, but all the other stuff linked and gradually built towards that. All of those things I've listed were stepping stones, either natural progressions that link together or new opportunities that arose from the initial idea or service. So where can you diversify? What avenues can your initial idea expand into? You have the worksheets attached, so it's time to get those up again and we can work through them together. Questions on one sheet, income stream examples on another, and we've used videography and art as 2 examples. We're going to look at videography. Starting nice and simple. What skill or passion can you monetize? So we're saying here, we're looking at videography. I've banged on a lot about music and my guitar journey, so let's look at another industry, videography. Then what I'd like you to do when you're thinking about your own passion and what you're trying to align for your creative career, 3 ways to monetize your skills or passions. Now, I've talked about a lot of examples with music, and we've got some here for videography. So client work. You can start with local businesses. Remember I spoke about the artist as well who started painting on the shop windows? Well, you can apply something like that to videography. Who's going to need some promo videos for their local businesses? The chances are your local businesses and people online even, they need a bit of promotion, but they might not have the skill sets and the knowledge to go and deliver it in this kind of way. Online content creators, man, if there's ever an industry that has got a lot of people that are in need of footage and promoting that and editing it cleanly and putting all that production behind it, is content creators. So yeah, a lot of footage for promo, social media content, YouTube videos. So that's just client work, but lots of things that exist within it. Stock footage. You've got lots of sites where you can go and you can sell your stock footage. That's like another little avenue you could have that's topping you up with a little bit of income. Digital courses. Spoke about this quite a bit before and the big benefit that they have. The good thing about each of these is they link in together as well. You do the client work, you can host that on somewhere like your YouTube channel. It's also a great place to put some of your stock footage, again, acting as a promo for you and your services. And once you've got a digital course, what a perfect thing to link after people have seen the free content that you're putting out. You want to be able to do this, you want to learn from me, here's a digital course that you can access. I know YouTube is incredibly busy, an oversaturated market, and it's not necessarily going to monetize straight away, but I do believe it's a good avenue and outlet to have, even if it's just for you to be sharing that work, honing your skills, use it as an opportunity to test stuff. You will build a form of audience. It might not take off straight away. Consistency is key with that sort of thing, but it's a great place to host your work, provide something for free, maybe post links to courses or newsletters, just something that is getting your name out there. And the more stuff that you're putting out there, it's a really good way of building trust and raising awareness of what you do. Focusing on digital courses for a second. This isn't just for videography. This is whatever your idea is. A digital course could be a really good avenue for you. Most industries, creative outlets would benefit from a beginner type course. Even if it's a bit of software that you know really well, that could be a really good outlet and a really good course for you to share as well. It's not something you have to do right away, but I would suggest not leaving it too long, because once that is up, it's not passive income, because that term gets thrown around a lot. I believe that most things, pretty much everything, are going to involve some form of work. Obviously up front there's a lot of work to be done, but even once that's uploaded, you want to turn up for anyone that engages with that. There's no point just hosting it, leaving it, let it do its thing and go, oh, the money's going to roll in. If someone's engaging with that content, if they're writing reviews, if they're asking questions, you want to be present and you want to be there to be able to help people out with that. Let us delve a little bit deeper into what the strategy to start monetizing would be. You can obviously do this in a bit more detail in your own time, but we can have a little look through it now. So branching out from that initial core product service idea that we've had, you can start to see all these different outlets that we spoke about: the YouTube channel, the stock footage, online courses, freelance editing services. If you are in videography, selling digital products like LUTs and templates, a newsletter, which we'll talk a bit more about in a minute. Some really good ideas. So just getting started. We spoke about that at the very beginning. Do you have a camera? If not, so many people in this industry would be using their phone to capture content. And it's something very personal as well about sharing videos that are just your phone to face. And tying into this, simple little projects, your surroundings, short films, offer to shoot music videos. You can see how many different avenues for potential income there are, and some that you can offer low cost or ideally for free to build that portfolio to get you up and running. Then you've got all that in place, it's going to be a lot easier to start offering your first paid gig, your paid services. Suddenly, these events, these promos, these music videos, you can start to charge because you've got a good CV, you've got a lot of stuff that people can go and again, build that trust, build that relatability and reliability. While all of this is going on, you're just constantly building content to build an online audience all across your social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever it is, just places to showcase your work. And this is where things like AI tools come in to make this process, and this is applicable, as I'm sure you know, to so many industries, for scheduling posts, to repurposing clips, to brainstorming content ideas. And there's some good ones there. Opus Clip, Spot Studio, really worth checking out. Again, not just for videography. You can see how so much that can be applied to all sorts of creative outlets. You've got a website, you've got a landing page, you've got a YouTube channel. This all ties in to diversifying your income. Stock footage sites that we spoke about, that continuing to develop that YouTube channel, upskilling yourself and building your audience. You've got editing services, Fiverr, Upwork, all these sort of places. And then thinking about that online course, even a beginner videography tutorial would be perfect after all this experience that you've built. And then close to some, not passive, but kind of a nice little trickling in of income you can get from certain websites. And all this just helps you plan for that long-term growth. Regular clients, things that you could do on a retainer basis. Is there monthly social media content? You could do workshops, live coaching. You host a workshop online. It's endless, the amount of people that you could get to attend it. You obviously build your audience, but you're kind of doing all this stuff beforehand. So when you do launch these workshops, you've got a nice bit of profile to go and expand into. And naturally, like in any industry, as you grow, you get better gear and you're allowed to take on more higher paying jobs, and you can start to think about outsourcing, freeing up your workload, allowing you to focus on more of the things that you want to do, and you are still able to grow. We'll speak a bit more about outsourcing in a little while. Start to think about how you can apply this mindset to your own field. How can you turn your creative passions into multiple income streams? This one that I've just highlighted doesn't have to be the definitive journey, but it hopefully just demonstrates how many different examples and what sort of journey you could go on in this industry. And as you go on that journey, one particular thing might stick out, one particular area might take off, which then sets off its own little branches and other little ideas. That's why it's so important. The networking, the creating, the ideas, they all just benefit each other and continue to compound over time. Newsletters are another great thing to explore. We mentioned them very briefly earlier on, and you'll hear creators talk about building an email list a lot, and there's a reason for that, because it becomes your direct audience. It ties again perfectly to what we spoke about earlier: trust, reliability, that regularity of content. People really get to know you and become familiar with you, your approach, your service, your product, whatever it is. The chances are it's not going to monetize early, but it is another skill set that you will improve. You will develop as a writer. You'll become better at sales pitches. You'll become better at storytelling, presenting what it is that you offer. You're building an audience as this goes on, and you can use places like Substack and MailChimp, and as they're free to use, you've got nothing to lose. You don't have to spend a ton of time on it. You can just block that out in your calendar. It could be weekly, fortnightly, monthly even, just something that's there, hold you to account, and over time you'll see it's a brilliant place for you to share your thoughts, your experiences, your storytelling, and people really buy into that. I'm quite early on in my journey with newsletters, but it's already expanding my reach, my engagement, and some sales. So hopefully you can see why it's important to diversify your income. It gives you a better opportunity for growth, and it's rare that one form of income is the thing that catapults your growth. It's usually due to multiple income streams. But always there's a balance to be had. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. You don't want to spread yourself too thin. This doesn't mean you've got to go out there and create multiple products. If you're tactical, you can create one main product or service, and then a lot of the other things, a lot of the avenues and income streams exist around that. So what resources do you already have to start? What's the easiest way to get your first paid gig? Which income stream sounds most exciting to you? And what small action could you take this week to help you move forward? Think about those questions one at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. See what ideas they spark and see how you can start to take some gradual steps forward. Outsourcing, one of the best ways to help you grow, but one of the hardest actions to take. So many people who run their own business or use their creative passion to earn a living find it really hard to relinquish complete control. It's very easy to think no one can do this like I do, or no one has the same passion for this idea or art form than I do. But every business has tasks, systems, admin that exist around your main passion. It's really important for you to realize what you might not be the strongest at, what you haven't really got that desire to do. And that's okay. It's all right to think like that. As soon as you are in a position to outsource something, do it. The time that it gives you to focus on what is really the core of your main passion is so valuable. So recognize what you're not the strongest at, and that's okay. And see if there's anyone who can get on board with your idea early on. Think of a tradesperson example. You know, we could all try and tackle those DIY jobs at home. We could do YouTube searches around how to fix your boiler or washing machine, but it takes up a lot of time. And there's people that are specialists and do that for a living for a reason. I appreciate money might be an issue. There's certainly no way that I could outsource straight away and bring on a big team of people when I first started my business, but you can be a bit tactical with it and look for other options. Like the tradesperson example, a lot of us have got a mate who's a plumber or an electrician or a builder. I started to look at that from the relevant industry that I was going into. So social media, web design, logos. We actually did this when we launched our service, and which eventually became our charity. We had a friend who was working in design, and he designed us a logo that we use to this day. It didn't cost us anything. We tried to, give him some drinks and a couple of quid where we could. But because he was seeing mates start a business, he was really passionate about helping us, and he done it far better than we ever could. And it's still something to this day that we get a lot of comments about. That logo has become obviously our brand, and it really represents us so well. If you're young enough, you might know people that are studying at college or uni that are studying subjects that are relevant to what you're doing, the industry that you're going into. So pull in a few favours from there. If you're a lot older, you might have mates who have got their own kids that are going to college or uni, so that could be another opportunity there. Or just go direct to colleges. They usually have departments and people that are looking for placements, opportunities to help their students develop. And one thing you're going to get there is keenness. Someone who has gone to pick this subject is usually very keen about developing in that. So we're not saying you're going to get the most high-end thing straight away. I'm not saying you have to go out and do this, but it is an option. It is an idea. Or online, there's places like Fiverr and Upwork. Some of them are some cheap examples, but you do find some really good ones on there. We actually used that a lot in the early days for some design and some marketing, and that worked out well for us. A great book to read around the process process and advice on outsourcing is Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek. I definitely recommend checking that. And now the game changer in the modern world, AI. ChatGPT. How many hours have people spent working out what description to add to their digital course? An engaging, catchy YouTube title, a really punchy sales script, the newsletter idea, and coming up with ideas for content, business names, business logos, replying to emails. The list and the tasks it can do, as we're all becoming very aware of nowadays, is endless. AI doesn't have to write everything for you, but it is the perfect ideation tool. It can refine work and make brilliant suggestions in an instant. You could record a 1-minute voice note for a newsletter idea, a sales pitch, a YouTube script, and then throw that into ChatGPT and it will turn it into a 10-minute article, sales pitch, in-depth, engaging script, whatever it is you're after, in an instant, and then you can tweak that. It gets the ball rolling, and I definitely recommend you find a way to slot that into your workflow and your idea creation. It makes you more efficient and saves you a lot of time. As an example, recently I've used it for media-related tasks, feedback on marketing materials, thumbnails, brainstorming YouTube title ideas, or heavier business stuff like cash flows and budget sheets and drafting policies for my organisation. Once you get the ball rolling, you realise how many things it can help with. I could create a whole class around the benefits of AI, but luckily there is already a quality one out there. So it's popping up now or linked in the description. So I definitely recommend checking that out. Just quickly, there's a few more suggestions to help with your productivity. Use Canva for things like graphics, use Calendly for scheduling, use Notion for task management. All these things I will list in that attached resources PDF, and they're all things that will generally help you generate ideas, save time, and be more organised. You also have more traditional routes like apprenticeship schemes. That kind of ties into what we were talking about with the college earlier. You might find something good there. And if you are art-based, you're within that sort of creative career mindset, look into your local arts organisations. We did this, and there's a quick little success story. They were offering an opportunity for a young person to go and work in the creative sector with a local organisation. They would cover all the wages. There was no obligation to take that person on at the end of their placement, but it was a chance for them to go and develop, because it can be hard to get into the creative sectors. I'm sure most of you know. This young person who did come to work with us ended up just blowing us away. We then put them on a contract and they came to work with us full time after that initial placement. We got so much out of them. They really helped us grow. We learned how to manage staff. The arts organisation funded their placement, and then we ended up with this brilliant person who had got to know our organisation inside out and just helped us carry forward and progress and grow. So look into that. There could be some really good support, promotion opportunities and advice that you can get. You should have someone in your local organisation or part of your council or arts organisations that can do something like that for you as well. And you don't always have to be a charity, so look into that. So start searching, start local, and start freeing yourself up to do more of the things that you love that helps you build that dream business. You need to be able to have headspace and be able to shut off at times. And by lightening that workload, by bringing in other people, by relinquishing some control, it will really help you avoid burnout, which ultimately is just going to affect your productivity and your creativity. And that is the last thing you want when you are building your dream creative business. We spoke about outsourcing. I'd like to expand a little bit on what other forms of help are out there and some recommended routes that I suggest you try. There is a PDF attached to this class with a full list of everything that we cover, so check that out. And if you've got any questions, just get in touch. I'd be more than happy to help. To delve a bit deeper on that point, don't be scared to reach out to people, especially those that you perceive to be far further ahead in your journey. They've got this bigger status, this bigger audience. You'll be amazed how often people do actually reply. Derek Sivers is a great example of this. I've personally got so much value from his perspective on life, the journey he's been on with personal development and business, a big musical background, lots of travel, lots of gratitude, generally just decent values. To start with, I definitely recommend checking his books. I began with Anything You Want and Hell Yeah or No, but also he makes a big point on his website and very recently in a podcast, on a Mark Manson podcast, that he replies to messages and he says he spends like an hour and a half a day connecting with people from all over the world. For someone who's had a really interesting life, drop him a line, you might get some really valuable advice. I mentioned earlier the guy Daniel, who was huge in the graphic design space. I got in touch with him. We ended up on a Zoom call for nearly an hour. Gave me so much valuable insight and perspective from his journey as an online content course creator. Really good at what he does. Started to share that knowledge, build a really big audience. And we ended up talking about how he manages his work-life balance, and is able to go and take his kids to football, pick the kids up from school, have this really good family life, and then find those little pockets of time that obviously he has his business and he can balance things things in a much more manageable way because he started his own independent creative career. Rotom Savan is another one. I found him on YouTube a few years ago. Incredible musician, loads of followers, releases records, tours the world. I've ended up on a couple of Zooms with him because I just asked him a couple of questions and he's someone who's given me his time and I'm really grateful for that. Another one that I didn't expect him to, but because I reached out, I got something really positive back. I've mentioned some authors, but to briefly recap, Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek. That's a really good book again about outsourcing, managing your time. You could get some really good ideas from that. Mark Manson's really popular book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's a really good book to read in regards to prioritizing what's important in your life. On the more business side of things, Alex Hormozy is just taking off all over the internet, massive on YouTube nowadays, obviously a really big figure in the business world. Some people might label this as the hustle culture sort of side of things, but he does give some really valuable sales and marketing advice. A lot of it's like long form content, but maybe you could throw the transcript into ChatGPT and ask it to bullet point all the really key takeaways. We mentioned productivity. We mentioned Ali Abdaal. There was stuff initially that I saw about investing and finance, but also building a business, especially as his businesses have started to grow. I've got some really good, valuable business advice, not just productivity, but finance and business from him as well. If you're going to get one app, I would definitely recommend Notion. That has been an absolute game changer for my organization, business and personal life. To be honest, it's brilliant. It's like your own little website where you can jump between tabs, brain dump some ideas, script out courses, create to-do lists, link your Google Calendar. It's brilliant. So definitely have a little look at that. And as you're building a team, you can start to share this between your team as well. So it becomes a really good community hub, really, where you can all interact and throw ideas and brainstorm stuff. So yeah, definitely check that out. If you haven't already, look into places like your local council. I think a lot of people assume that they need to have charity status before they're going to be eligible for any support or funding. We wasn't a charity for a long time, but we approached our local council and we found that they had pots of money and support groups that as long as you were doing community-based projects, they could come in and they could support you personally or professionally and financially. So pitch some ideas. It could be a great way to test some of the ideas that you've got, get a little bit of local support, a little bit of promotion, some great networking. Eventually, if you do get charity status, then you've done a lot of that hardcore work and then you'll open yourself up to a lot more opportunities. So yeah, definitely have a little look into that. If you've got any product or service, you're going to want some sort of website or landing page. You can balance a lot of it on social media, but you will see many creatives and business nowadays, even if it's a simple landing page, somewhere like Squarespace or Thinkific or Teachable, they have AI features well built in. So if you've got no design background or experience, or you're just kind of really struggling to know where to go with it, throw your ideas into their sites, look at their templates, and you will come away with something really professional looking at some pretty reasonable costs as well. And then places like Thinkific, you can host one digital product and multiple PDFs for free. It doesn't cost you anything on their basic plan. So you could start to already direct people towards a landing page that could host your product. And you've got somewhere like YouTube, you've got your social media, all these avenues that actually you can be posting, creating content, sharing it for free, directing people to a landing page that doesn't cost you anything. All these little ways to start building that audience organically at very low or little cost. You could also load up ChatGPT, tell it your business idea, your name, your situation. I think that'll give you some pretty good suggestions as well. The AI class I mentioned earlier, you can dive a lot deeper into that way of thinking. Lastly, if you have an idea, product that you want to test, look on places like Reddit, Discord, look at the groups on there that are relevant to your industry, your creative passion and outlet, and see what people are saying. See what people are after. Learn as much as you can about your product, about your idea. Get as much feedback as you can before you fully launch. This will save you so much time in the long run and hopefully mean there's far less tweaks to be made once you do fully launch. All that data you've gathered beforehand means you will have the best possible impact from day one. Again, all of these points will be linked in the document, but I just wanted to expand on a couple of those, give you a bit more detail and insight. All the best with it. You're here, the outro. Thank you so much for working through all these lessons. I really hope you got something valuable from the course and that you're feeling positive and confident about your creative career. Wherever you are in that journey, this class has hopefully provided you with some tools, some guidance to help you push forward with it. I feel very privileged to live the life I do, and I'm very grateful for the opportunities and experiences that running my own business has given me. As we discussed, there's been some hard days. I've made some mistakes and learned from them quickly and become stronger because of that. And you will do the same because your passion for your art form or idea is what keeps you going, and seeing the impact that it has, your product, your service, when it enters the world, regardless of how small it is what provides that momentum and that drive to keep you building and keeping on progressing. And I wish you every bit of success for that. If you have any questions, then please feel free to send them over. I love hearing from and meeting students of the classes. Also, your creative outlet, your business idea, your art form, whatever it is, please feel free to send that over. I'd love to learn more about it. I'd love to have a chat with you. Reviews are also massively appreciated, so please consider leaving one. I learned so much by seeing and hearing what has resonated with students of the class. So if you'd like to leave one, that would be massively appreciated. Thank you. You'll also see a link to my newsletter, or it'll be popping up on the screen. Please consider signing up. It's totally free. I write regularly. There's further business insights that expand a bit on the content that we've covered here, as well as some new things, all with the goal of building people's confidence and creativity. So if that sounds interesting, please feel free to check that out. I wish you all the best. Get going with that creative career, believe in your ability, start to share your passions with the world. It can make a huge difference to your life and the people that discover you. Take care.
As the screen says, thank you guys so much for watching. This was Launch Your Dream Business. And if this has sparked any ideas for you or any questions, you're going to see that there is a link to the free Paint to Power WhatsApp community. The community chat is a perfect place to discuss what kind of things this triggered for you, what kind of inspiration this brought to mind, what you are going to do with this information, and what dream biz you are going to bring to the community. So thank you so much for watching again. Make sure to join the WhatsApp chat, join our social media, our Instagram page to follow along, and we will see you next Saturday.